How are you and how's everybody doing? Welcome to today's lesson of just comprehension. Today we'll be reading The Enchanted Castle, our second extract by E. Nesbit. Okay, so we have Kathleen, Jimmy, and Gerald are on holiday in the West Country. One day they head out to explore a new part of the local area. If you call names, said Jimmy, you can go by yourself, he added. So there. It's part of the game, silly, explained Gerald kindly. You can be captain tomorrow, so you'd better hold your jaw now and begin to think about the names you'll call us when it's your turn. Hold your jaw. What do you think he means by that? He means to stop talking, right? Very slowly and carefully, they went down the steps. A vaulted stone arched over their heads. Vaulted also means arched, so it's like an arched roof made of stone over their heads. Gerald struck a match when the last step was found to have no edge, and to be in fact the beginning of the passage turning to the left. So Gerald, he lit a match when he got to the last step, which was the beginning of what? A passage turning to their left. This, said Jimmy, will take us back into the road. Or under it, said Gerald. We've come down 11 steps. So what happened? They came down the steps. They got to the last step. They turned to the passage on their left, right? They went on, following their leader, who went very slowly for fear, as he explained, of steps. The passage was very dark. I don't half like it, whispered Jimmy. Then came a glimmer of daylight that grew and grew. Remember, guys, they're still down under. Where would the light come from? Then came a glimmer of daylight that grew and grew, and presently ended in another arch that looked over a scene so like a picture out of a book about Italy that everyone's breath was taken away, and then they simply walked forward silent and staring. A short avenue of cypresses led, widening as it went. Now, an avenue is a path that has trees on either sides. So, a short avenue of cypresses led, widening as it went, so it got wider and wider, to a marble terrace that lay broad and white in the daylight. A terrace is like a porch or like a balcony or like a place in the front of the house where there are chairs and you sit, or in this case, a castle, to enjoy the garden, to enjoy the weather, to bask under the sun, things like that. The children, blinking, leaned their arms on the broad, flat balustrade and gazed. A balustrade is like a parapet or like a railway at the end of the terrace that you build so you don't fall. You don't fall off of the terrace. So they leaned on the balustrade and gazed. Immediately below them was a lake like a lake in the beauties of Italy, a lake with swans and an island and weeping willows. Beyond it were green slopes dotted with groves of trees, and amid the trees gleamed the white limbs of statues. Against a little hill to the left was a round white building with pillars, and to the right a waterfall came tumbling down among mossy stones to splash into the lake. Wow, so descriptive. Steps fed from the terrace to the water, and other steps to the green lawns beside it. Away across the grassy slopes, deer were feeding, and in the distance, where the groves of trees thickened into what looked almost like a forest, were enormous shapes of gray stone, like nothing that the children had ever seen before. It is an enchanted castle, said Kathleen. I don't see any castle, said Jimmy. What do you call that, then? Gerald pointed to where, beyond the belt of lime trees, white towers and turrets broke into the blue of the sky. Turrets are, if you have a castle, then you have like these little small castles on top. It's quite clear, you can see the turrets here, right? Okay. Magic mowing machines, Jimmy suggested. If you were in a book, it would be an enchanted castle. Certain to be, said Kathleen. It's an enchanted castle, said Gerald in hollow tones. But there aren't any. Jimmy was quite positive. He was quite sure that there aren't any enchanted castles. How do you know? Do you think there is nothing to the world but what you've seen? His scorn was crushing. Scorn is like contempt, like when you think somebody is wrong or you don't respect them at that specific moment. So it's obvious that they don't very much agree with each other. I think magic went out when people began to have steam engines, Jimmy insisted, and newspaper and telephones and wireless telegraphing. Wireless is rather like magic when you come to think of it, said Gerald. Oh, that sort. Jimmy's contempt was deep, as well. Perhaps there's given up being magic because people didn't believe in it anymore, said Kathleen. Well, don't let's spoil the show with any silly old not believing, said Gerald with decision. I'm going to believe in magic as hard as I can. This is an enchanted garden, and that's an enchanted castle, and I'm jolly well going to explore. The dauntless knight then led the way, the fearless knight then led the way, leading his ignorant squires to follow or not. Just as they jolly well chose. He rolled out the balustrade and strode firmly down towards the lawn, his boots making as they went a clatter full of determination. The others followed. There never was such a garden out of a picture or a fairy tale. They passed quite close by the deer, who only raised their pretty heads to look and did not seem startled at all. And after a long stretch of turf, they passed under the heaped up masses of lime trees and came into a rose garden bordered with thick, close-cut yew hedges and lying red and pink and green and white in the sun, like a giant's many-colored, highly scented pocket handkerchief. So here we have quite a simile. Let's reread the sentence. And after a long stretch of turf, which is grass, they passed under heaped up masses of lime trees and came into a rose garden, bordered with thick, close-cut yew hedges. So this is the rose garden, is bordered with the hedges, and lying red and pink in the middle and lying red and pink and green in the middle, like a giant's many-colored, highly scented handkerchief. So the rose garden is compared to the pocket handkerchief of a giant. Okay? A colorful one at that. I know we shall meet a gardener in a minute, and he'll ask what we're doing here, and then what will we say? Kathleen asked with her nose in a rose. With her nose in a rose, if I say pin a nose on your nose, it means nobody's really listening or paying attention to what you're saying. Nobody really cares. So she was asking these questions, and nobody was really paying her any attention. They were too excited. I shall say that we've lost our way, and it will be quite true, said Gerald. But they did not meet a gardener or anyone else, and the feeling of magic got thicker and thicker till they were almost afraid of the sound of their feet in the great silent place. All right, this is The Enchanted Castle by E. Nesbit. Okay, The Magic City is our other one by E. Nesbit, by the way. These are the questions. Everything is quite clear. Then we had the extension question and the redraft of the extension question. All right, year 8, thank you very much and have a great day.